Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before starting the video, please go ahead and hit the subscribe button and give this video a like up. Cole's rushed to the hospital and Kyle signs the contract. With Victor Thursday, June 5th, 2025, today on The Young and the Restless. Amy makes a decision about her future. Damien breaks bad news to Holden. Audra helps a friend. In the park. Amy tells Audra and Nate she's more hopeful about the future, and it's all due to him. Nate tells her it's about her positive attitude too. Amy reveals she's come to a decision about her future. Audra hopes Amy is going to move there. Amy says yes, she relocate to Genoa City. Audra hugs her, thrilled. Nate couldn't be happier. For her, and for them, Amy wants to be close to her son, and Audra tears up. Nate teases that his girlfriend is a big softie at heart. Audra marvels that Amy didn't even think she'd survive long enough to see her son again. It's a gift. Amy chokes up. She wants to spend time with her new friend and the man she considers her second son. They do a group hug. Damien asks a favor at the club. Damien tells Lily he fears he's about to lose his best friend. He's meeting Holden and has to tell him he's lost his job. Lily snarks that he should have told Dumas to do it himself. He reminds her Dumas didn't even fire him himself. Talk turns to Audra. Damien says Amy adores her. Lily asks what she can do to help where Holden is concerned. He hates to ask, but would they have a position at Winters for him? He feels responsible for Holden and wants to soften the blow. Lily feels partly responsible too. It was her idea to have him spy on Dumas, which probably got him fired. Damien should have known better with Dumas. He notes she didn't look thrilled about the idea of hiring Holden. Lily has to think about where he'd fit in and talk to Devin and Nate. But it shouldn't be a problem to put him in the hotel division with Damien. He thanks her profusely. Lily wonders how Holden will feel about him being his boss. Audra told her that Holden said Damien had a temper. Damien's never had anyone in his life to balance him out or talk him down. It would be nice to have that kind of person in his life. He looks at her, real nice. Holden erupts. Lily teases that she hopes Damien doesn't put that on his dating app. Damien hasn't been on one. He likes meeting people face to face. Lily agrees. She appreciates his honesty about his temper. He feels comfortable being open with her. Lily feels the same way. She asks why he's been single for so long. Damien chuckles. He likes that she's curious. Just then, Holden arrives. Lily leaves so they can talk. Holden sits and asks Damien if this is about work. Damien tells him Dumas fired them. Holden swears. I was right. You did throw me under the bus, didn't you? Damien protests that he fired them both. Holden thinks he took the fall for Damien's attempt to leave Dumas for Winters. Damien explains that he's hoping he can follow him to Winters. Holden grunts. No thanks. He's ditched him and their friendship for some woman he barely knows. Damien reminds him of all the times he picked him up. Holden complains that he let him do his dirty work while he got the glory. It's time for them to make a clean break. At the tack house, Claire and Victoria fuss over Cole, who is coughing his brains out. Victoria coaxes him to keep his fluids up. She's worried about him. Nothing is making this flu better, Cole admits. This is worse than before, as he coughs for an extended period. Claire and Victoria exchange a look. Victoria gets on the phone and then reports that the doctor has agreed to see Cole. He feels like he got hit by a truck. Victoria and Cole debate whether it's more than just a bug. Cole protests, but he can't even finish his sentence for coughing and groaning. The doctor arrives and Victoria and Claire run down Cole's symptoms as the doctor examines him. The doctor declares that Cole's lungs don't sound good. They'll need to get him to the hospital. Claire and Victoria are disturbed to learn it might be pneumonia. As the car is pulled around, Cole argues with Victoria, who wants to go to the hospital with him. Claire urges her father to listen to the doctors so he can get better. I love you, Cole says. I love you too, Claire. He's the luckiest man in the world. Kyle signs a deal with the Duval at the ranch. Victor answers his phone and says, send him in. Kyle enters and admits he's pleasantly surprised to have received an invitation. Victor warns him not to be so pleased until he's heard his response to his proposal. Kyle tells him he'll do anything to make Claire happy. Victor says he's willing to agree to his contract. Kyle's surprised. He expected bad news. Victor says the only bad news will be when he hurts his granddaughter. Kyle says it won't happen. Victor holds up a contract and says if he hurts Claire, he'll pay him $5 million and leave town. I'm impressed, Victor says, that you're willing to make that kind of commitment. Maybe I've been wrong about you all along. Kyle wants to send the contract by his guy. Victor guesses he wants to make sure there's an out. Kyle suddenly decides that he doesn't need to have it looked over. He asks why Victor hates him so much. Is it because he's Jack's son, or some other reason? He wants to know because he loves Claire, but everything he says and does isn't good enough for him. Victor grunts, let's get going. So Kyle signs the contract. Victor reminds him if he breaks Claire's heart, he'll have to abide by it. They shake hands and Kyle exits. Lily and Nate talk Dumas at the park. Nate tells Amy she can stay with him until she finds a new place to ship her things to. Audra would really miss her if she was gone. Amy agrees to the plan. and she and Audra decide to go for lunch. Lily appears, and they tell her Amy's moving to town. Lily's thrilled. Audra and Amy leave, and Nate asks Lily what she makes of Duma invitation. What does she think he's up to? Lily admits it threw her for a loop. Nate thinks it sounds sketchy. Lily wants to go to find out what he's up to. Nate thinks he's getting in her head, but understands he'll hold down the fort. Lily's surprised he and Audra weren't invited, but she's not upset about Audra though. Nate thinks she can one day see what he does. Lily's not so sure. Nate asks her to get a selfie with Dumas. He's dying to know who he is. Lily murmurs, "You and everybody else." Nate fishes to find out if she's met anyone yet. Grinning, she insists nothing has happened with her and Damien. Swerving, Lily says Damien's breaking the news to Holden this morning. He's wondering if there's a spot for him at Winters. Nate doesn't trust the guy. Lily points out he'd be doing it for Damien, and she feels responsible for getting them fired. Nate marvels that Dumas suddenly seems a hand in everything going on in this town. Lily says that's why they're going to France. Nate fears it could be a wild goose chase, but Lily asserts that failure isn't an option. Audra interrupted Amy, and Audra arrive at the club as Holden walks out on Damien. Audra steps away to take a call from Victor, who wants to see her now. She tries to reschedule, but he barks. "I said now?" She tells Amy and Damien she has to go, and trots out. Amy and Damien discuss Holden. Damien sees his point, and he feels responsible for the mess. He explains he's more like a brother than a friend. Holden was the only person he completely trusted. Amy is here for her son now. Damien tells her he'll have to handle this on his own. She still wants to help. Damien suggests they figure out a peace offering for Holden. Amy thinks the answer is in his heart. Audra sees an opportunity. Audra shows up at the ranch and asks about the urgency of Victor's summons. Victor warns her when he asks for a meeting, she needs to just say yes. He complains that she hasn't done a damn thing to convince his granddaughter that Kyle's a bad guy. She says these things take time. Victor warns something better happen before he gets back from France. Audra muses about the top players in town getting invited to Dumas' summer home. She thinks getting Kyle out of town for a bit would help. Her plan? She asks Victor to make sure she and Kyle get invited to France. She'll take care of the rest. Kyle arrives at the tack house, and Claire tells him her dad has gone to the hospital. The doctor thinks it might be pneumonia. I have to admit him. Kyle's sure that Cole's a strong guy and will pull through just fine. They embrace. Claire tells Kyle how much she loves her dad. She can't fix his suffering or give him back the time he lost with her. Kyle assures her she's a great daughter now. Claire asks how his meeting went with Victor. He says it was fine. She just needs to focus on her dad. A compromising position. Audra finds Holden on the coffeehouse patio and notes his message sounded desperate. He appreciates her showing up and asks her to have a seat. She reluctantly does so. What's so urgent? Holden reminds her she said she'd be his friend. I could really use one right now. Audra knows he was fired and sympathizes. Holden complains that Damien used him to get what he wanted there, and then threw him away like trash. He didn't know who to call, but Audra is the only person who's ever gotten to know him. You can leave if you want. Audra reaches across the table and takes his hand out at the ranch. Victor looks at the Dumas invitation, thinks, and then throws it down on the table with secrets unravel drop by drop, and you get the sense that something is brewing just off screen. And then there are weeks like this one, when the drama hits like a freight train, leaving characters gasping for air and viewers glued to the edge of their seats. Two of Genoa City's most compelling threads collided in spectacular fashion as Cole Howard was rushed to the hospital in what may be a emergency, while Kyle Abbott, emboldened, enraged, or maybe just exhausted, made the fateful decision to sign on the dotted line with none other than Victor Newman. Power plays, personal anguish, and potentially irreversible choices have set the stage for a game-changing chapter in the lives of two men, one fighting to survive, the other gambling everything on an alliance with the devil he knows. Let's break it all down and explore what it means for the family's feuds and futures at the heart of Genoa City. Cole Howard's collapse, a mystery in motion. It began like any other day in the Newman orbit, a little tension, a little awkwardness, and a whole lot of carefully measured words spoken in lavish rooms. But things took a horrifying turn when Cole, who had been quietly dealing with increasing stress and unexplained fatigue, suddenly collapsed in the middle of a conversation with Victoria. One moment he was brushing off her concern, the next he was on the floor, clutching his side, barely conscious. The chaos was immediate. Victoria screamed for help, rushing to Cole's side as Claire, ever on edge with worry about her newly discovered father, appeared in the doorway, frozen with fear. For a character who spent decades as the calm in many storms, Cole's sudden vulnerability was a jarring reminder that no one in Genoa City is immune from fate's cruel twists. Paramedics arrived quickly, and in true soap fashion, Cole was whisked away before he could offer any real explanation. A cryptic moment in the ambulance, a whispered, "I should have said something sooner," has already sent the fanbase into overdrive. What was he hiding? What's wrong with Cole? Theories abound. From a simple stress-related breakdown to a life-threatening illness he's been keeping secret, There's no shortage of possibilities, and no shortage of drama attached to each one. If Cole has been quietly battling a health issue, it would reframe his recent behavior in a devastating new light. His increasingly intense push to reconnect with Victoria, his cautious, sometimes distant attempts to bond with Claire, his resistance to involving the wider Newman clan in anything personal. Was he trying to make peace with the people he loves? Before time runs out, Victoria, for her part, is spiraling. Guilt-ridden, panicked, and completely unprepared for the possibility of losing Cole again. She's already begun blaming herself for missing the signs. And while Nikki and Victor offered their own brand of support, which, in Victor's case, mostly involves barked commands and veiled threats to the hospital staff, it's Claire who may be the key to understanding what happens next, because if Cole survives, it's Claire he'll need most, and if he doesn't, it's Claire who stands to lose everything. She's only just begun to understand. Meanwhile, Kyle plays his hand across town, and in an entirely different kind of war zone, another storm was brewing. Kyle Abbott, disillusioned with Jack's leadership, furious over Diane's latest meddling, and fed up with feeling like a pawn in the Abbott chessboard, made the kind of decision that defines a character for years. He signed a contract with Victor Newman. Yes, that Victor Newman. The terms haven't been revealed yet, and you better believe Victor's not the type to hand over a clean, easily digestible agreement, but what's clear is that Kyle has decided he's done playing nice. Gone as the polished corporate prince, dancing around diplomacy. What we saw this week was a man who's ready to blow up the system, starting with his own family if necessary. I'm tired of being underestimated, he told Victor. If they won't give me the power I've earned, I'll take it from them. And Victor smiled like the cat who just trapped a canary in a corner. Why Kyle's betrayal is so dangerous? Victor Newman doesn't do charity. He does leverage, and right now, Kyle is not an ally, he's a weapon. Whether Kyle realizes it or not, he's just handed Victor a direct route into the heart of Jabot's operations. And with Billy already teetering on the edge, and Jack distracted by family drama, the company may not be prepared for what's coming. This isn't just a power grab. This is personal. Victor has always held a grudge against Jack Abbott, and now, with Kyle in his pocket, he may finally be in a position to dismantle his longtime rival's empire from the inside out. As for Kyle, he thinks he's calling the shots, but Victor Newman doesn't share the wheel. The fallout begins when Diane found out. It was like watching a dam crack under pressure. She begged Kyle to reconsider, warned him of Victor's long history of manipulation and betrayal, and even offered to step back from the company entirely if that would bring her son back into the Abbott fold. But Kyle wasn't swayed. I don't want you to step back, he told her, cold and sharp. I want you to realize you've already done enough damage. Harsh words, but from a son who's been made to feel like a disposable piece in a larger game, perhaps not entirely unfair. Jack, meanwhile, remains unaware for now, but when he finds out, expect fireworks. And not the fun 4th of July kind. More like emotional scorched earth. Two men, two crises, and a town on the edge. It's hard not to draw parallels between Cole and Kyle. Right now, one is fighting for his life, the other is fighting for control. One is leaning into vulnerability, seeking peace with his past. The other is armoring up, preparing to go to war with everyone he once called family, and both in their own way are redefining who they are in the eyes of those closest to them. For Claire, Cole's condition may finally push her to open up, not just to him, but to herself. This is a girl who spent a lifetime in survival mode. Now, with a father she barely knows potentially slipping away, she has to decide whether she's ready to fight for love instead of running from it. For Kyle, the consequences of his deal with Victor won't be immediate, but they will be devastating, because the thing about Newman contracts is they always come with a price. And in Victor's world, there are no refunds and no forgiveness. Final thoughts. The calm before the next storm. The genius of The Young and the Restless isn't just in the drama itself. It's in how expertly the show weaves the personal and the professional into a singular tapestry of tension. Cole's hospitalization and Kyle's betrayal may seem like separate threads, but rest assured, they're connected. Genoa City has always been a place where family and business bleed into one another, where personal choices ripple across boardroom tables and hospital corridors alike. What happens next? To Cole, to Claire, to Victoria, to Kyle, to Jack, will redefine alliances. And rest assured, Victor Newman didn't go fishing for Kyle Abbott just for fun. The hook is set, the line is taut, and the next twist. It's coming fast.